Universal Interactive presents a turbocharged extravaganza by Vicarious Visions. Brace yourself for Crash Nitro Kart!
Hey everyone, Joshua here from kart, and welcome back to a new all Crash Bandicoots review video. And today we are reviewing Crash Nitro Kart. So let's get started, shall we? So the story starts off with Wumpa Island. Us at Wumpa Island at the Crash, or the Bandicoots' homes, with Crash, of course, sleeping. And then we cut back to Coco working on her car, and Crunch working out with Aku Aku saying this.
Well, I've heard you can lose a lot of weight on it.
And then there's a light that comes out, and it is not sunlight, it is a different kind of light. But Crash doesn't even have a care of it. He just puts glasses on, and he gets sucked into that vortex. Yes. And then we cut back to Cortex. Yes, we cut back to Cortex's castle, where he's pacing back and forth, trying to figure out a great plan to destroy Crash, to defeat the Bandicoots, and of course to have world domination, of course. But of course Tiny, squashes Bandicoots, but Cortex tells him that he knows he can, but he just fails so many times. So Dr. Cortex tells him to go and see if Ingen requires assistance. And then Ingen is working on a car, and he tells Dingodile to pull the switch, but Tiny storms in, crushes Dingodile, and then the light, of course, shows again. And once again, they get sucked from the vortex, and they get transported into a new area. So one day, Crash wakes up, he finds himself in a kind of citadel. But it turns out it is actually in space in a different kind of planet. And then, of course, Cortex and his team managed to come as well, but Dingodile isn't there. Yes, Dingodile did come with them too. Now Cortex is wondering what they have done, and then we see the ultimate
I am Emperor Velo the 27th, ruler of this galaxy.
Emperor Velo the 27th comes out in a hologram, and he tells them that they have been sent there to race for the fate of, basically for the entertainment, really, and to win their freedom by winning the circuit, and basically to have they must win, or of course Earth would be destroyed if they do not win. So they basically have to participate if they want to go home. So it just depends with each team. What team you do, you get a different intro, right? You get a different intro to whichever team you're doing. And it's basically the same, really. It's basically the same intro of which team you start with. So, basically, Velo tells you that you have to win each world's key in order to have a chance to defeat the Galactic Champion and win their freedom, which that Galactic Champion is Emperor Velo himself. So he gives them their carts to race on, and they teleport their house away until they can win. And they go to the first world, Terra. So it's your typical kind of adventure, kind of like on team racing, but instead of you're winning to try to save Earth once again from being destroyed, basically. And there are 5 hub worlds, but basically 4 you need to go to in order to get the boss keys. So we go to the first level. The first level of the game. Inferno Island. Which, I could just tell you, I like the nitro-fueled version of Inferno Island better. Because it's dark and it has more stuff in it. But we go to Inferno Island. Which is a really fun track. And I really do love it. It's kind of like Crash Cove from the previous one. Crash Team Racing. But it's kind of different. But a real great start to this game. Then we go to the second level of Terra, and that is Jungle Boogie, which once again, it is a real cool level, and I absolutely love it. Absolutely love Jungle Boogie. What a fantastic track it is, especially the shortcut that newcomers may actually not see first time. Or if, yeah, let's say you just vault the game and you may see the shortcut, but you don't know how to reach it. But overall, this track is fantastic. Oh, and by the way, each hub world, the 4 hub worlds you go to, have 3 tracks to race instead of 4, like in Team Racing, to get the trophies. But we go to the final track. The final level of Terra. Tiny Temple. Yes, Tiny Temple. Which, it has, of course, on this version, the anti-gravity section, which I am very glad that they now removed the anti-gravity section, because the developers' times, at least, of course, in Nitro Field, I can't say that, but would go really well with the developers' time. So I'm happy that the anti-gravity is gone from this track. And of course you have Oxide Sip crashed as well, which is absolutely fantastic. Then we come to the first boss. Once you get the 3 trophies from Terra, you get to face the boss, which is Kronk. Terra's champion Kronk, which he says that we look slow. Us players look slow. Either Team Cortex or Team Bandicoot. So, he tells us that he will race them, because Emperor Velo says that they come from the same planet Earth. So, we have to face Kronk to prove him wrong. So, Kronk's boss fight takes place in Jungle Boogie. And he throws fruit that you could get stuck on your head. And you gotta jump multiple times to get it, to jump it off. So, you have defeated Terra, you have defeated Kronk, and basically there's 2 sides in the adventure of which team you're on. Team Bandicoot, once Team Bandicoot defeats Kronk, Crash gives his yo-yo to Kronk as a gift for the apology, and Kronk actually makes nice. Yeah. He actually does really well with it. And of course he gets tangled up with it as well, but Emperor Velo, of course, is not happy with it. You know, Emperor Velo is not happy with that. But when Team Cortex defeats Kronk, he tells him not to come visit whenever you want, just don't make trouble. But Cortex threatens to rule his world once he rules his own. Which we go to the second world, Baron. So we go to the first level of Baron, Meteor Gorge, which this is more like it, you guys. This is the Meteor Gorge that I love. A lot more snow than just less snow like in Nitro Field. But hey, I like both versions, but I think I just preferred this one better. Then we go to the second level of Baron, Baron Ruins, which of course it fits really well with the name of the world. And basically you have to look out for boulders, look out for robots, and make a real cool shortcut at the end, and you have yourself an amazing track. And then we have the final level of Baron, Deep Sea Driving, which is, of course, completely different from the original and Nitro fueled, which I like the nitro fueled version, once again, a lot more. I'm glad they removed the anti-gravity section from this track. But this level is absolutely fantastic because, especially in nitro fueled, because there's a giant kraken and basically, once again, anti-gravity section removed. But yeah, I absolutely love this track. So we come to once we collected the 3 trophies in Baron, 6 trophies in total, we have to face the champion of Baron, Nash the Cybernetic Shark. Yes. Which he tells Velo that he does not want to race them, and he needs to get moving, but Emperor Velo tells him to race or else, so he goes and does so. So Baron, or Nash's boss race takes place in deep sea driving, and he releases shark spikes and wind up taste as well. That will slow you down if you're not careful. But I do like that this one did have a really cool difference, especially since it's the second boss that we face. So when Team Bandicoot defeats Nash, Nash tells him can he please have his key back, but of course, he starts to lose his temper when Crunch tells him that he lost and it's fair and square. So Coco hacks into his brain and puts him to sleep. Which, that's really cool. One Team Cortex defeats Nash, and Jen and Cortex are discussing about how about cybernetic sharks as henchmen, but of course, Tiny digs in his belly button and kind of eats it. Oh, that's disgusting. And then Nash scares Jen off, and he, of course, loses his temper again, but not falling to sleep. Velo forces him to leave, and he'll deal with him later. And now we go to the third world, Phenomena. And the first level of Phenomena, Out of Time, which, once again, I love nitro fueled version better of this track, because instead of going on the clock, we go under it, and I think it's just fantastic. And it introduces a new shortcut at the end of the track or after the clock bit as well, after you go under it. And of course, somehow removing the worms as well, which we still don't know why the worms were removed in the nitro fueled version. Who knows? Then we go to the second level of Phenomena, Clockwork Wampa, which I love nitro fueled version of Clockwork Wampa way better, just because it actually has Wampa fruit it actually has Wampa fruit than the original, because it's called Clockwork Wampa, but there's not Wampa everywhere. But nitro fueled definitely got it covered. But hey, it's a real great track. Then we go to the final level of Phenomena, Thunderstruck, which I love the nitro fueled version better. Once again, anti-gravity section removed, and it introduces a shortcut that you couldn't do before at the start if you have a lot of reserve and blue fire as well, which this track is absolutely fantastic, especially in the nitro fueled version of it. And now that we have 9 trophies, we can now face Phenomena's champion, Norm. But Big Norm. Yes, the norms we have to face. It is up to us to face the norms. But like I said, Small Norm isn't the only racer. He's got a companion with him. And that is Big Norm. Which, believe it or not, in nitro fueled version, nitro fueled, the guy who voices Big Norm actually plays Sparks. I don't know if he did in the original Nitro Kart, but I'm pretty sure in nitro fueled he does. So, the Norm's boss race takes place in Out of Time, and they released bubbles, different shape bubbles, which will slow you down and you gotta try to pop. And Big Norm really doesn't have a purpose in the race because, well, at the start, of course, you see him, and then really at the end of the race, or for the rest of the race, you don't even see him anymore. And he's not even on the map either, or the character icons either. So, Big Norm really doesn't have a purpose in being in the race. So, when Team Bandicoot defeats the Norms, Big Norm actually makes nice with the Bandicoots. He actually congrats them for winning fair and square, and Big Norm says that they actually do have a shot of winning it. So, Big Norm tries to get Small Norm to come and make nice, but Norm refuses because he's too sad and he doesn't like losing, which is understandable. I mean, definitely ask my cousin Mason that. So when Team Cortex defeats the Norms, when Big Norm tries to make nice, Cortex doesn't respond too well with that.
You know, you did good out there.
Go away, you filthy clown.
No, he's mine.
Mime clown, close enough. With their painted faces and tattoos and stupid little honker things that just...
Where do you get off calling me a clown with your big head and your stupid springy hair?
And also, Velo yells at Big Norm and Small Norm, and of course, they go back together, and Velo tells him that maybe he needs other ways to force him to race, like taking his books away. And Velo tells him that he thought they baited us, but he proved us wrong. So now we go to the final world of the adventure mode. Techne. So we go to the first level, Assembly Lane, which I absolutely love this level. It's absolutely fantastic. And of course, once again, anti-gravity section removed and introduces a new shortcut to us as well, which is straight up fantastic. Try not to get sucked as well with the conveyor belt that you can get on, but try not to get squished. Then we go to the second level of Techne, Android Alley, which once again removes anti-gravity section off of it, because basically, really, the train part and the part where you get close to the shortcut is anti-gravity. But hey, it's very fantastic with the shortcut, the glass shortcut that you can use, and looking out for the train as well, not to get squished too. Then we come to the final level of Techne, Electron Avenue. Yes. I love Electron Avenue. Once again, it removes the anti-gravity, which is way better without anti-gravity. I just think it works way better without the anti-gravity, in my opinion. But yeah, I like the nitro-fueled version of Electron Avenue way better than the original one, just due to the anti-gravity section being removed. So now, once we have gotten all the trophies, it is time to face Geary, Techne's champion, which I love Geary. Who does not love Geary? Because he's a cleaning robot. How can you not love it? It's absolutely fantastic. So Geary's boss fight takes place in Android Alley with two sweeper bots alongside him. And they drop puddles of water and cleaning kind of different mechanicals that can squish you as well. But yeah, this is probably one of the difficult bosses, but one of the difficult bosses by far, not counting, of course, the final boss, but it's still fantastic. So, Gary's been defeated, and he finds the Coliseum to be dirty, so he starts cleaning. Yes, he starts cleaning, and basically this does the same with both teams. So, when Team Bandicoot defeats Gary starts scrubbing Crash and vacuuming Crash's chin, and across his armpit. And like I said, it's for Team Cortex as well. But this time, instead of Gary doing Tiny's armpit, he just scrubs and Tiny actually laughs. So Velo yells at Gary for failing him, and for his punishment, he's got to clean the entire victory podium, and not only that, he's got to clean the entire Coliseum. And Emperor Velo, the 27th himself, is fully revealed, not in hologram form, and he tells us that we have now gotten all the keys to defeat the Galactic Champion, Emperor Velo, and he tells him that he never loses. Once again, this goes to both Team Bandicoot and Team Cortex, that he tells us that he would not make the mistake again, and we will learn fear just like others have before you. And the entire Coliseum turns into a track, and the race begins. Emperor Velo, the final boss, Emperor Velo's boss race, takes place in Hyperspace Way, which actually did have a cut section, which what you're seeing on the screen right now. That section was completely cut, removed from Nitro Field, just because it's all anti-gravity. And let me just tell you, this is probably by far the hardest boss, not just in Nitro Field, but probably the hardest boss in the entire Crash Bandicoot franchise by far. Because Emperor Velo, like with Oxide, Emperor Velo throws loads of weapons, you guys. He throws bowling bombs, and he throws missiles. If you go in front of him, he shoots missiles at you as well, which is completely unfair. Probably the most difficult boss in the franchise by far as of yet. And that's not the only anti-gravity section as well. Close to the end as well was completely removed as well. Or, not removed, but changed because it's anti-gravity. Once Team Bandicoot defeats Emperor Velo, he congrats them for winning the circuit, and he put on quite a show, and he tells them that they are free to go. So Coco tells them to send him home, but Emperor Velo says Earth, but he's got to destroy Earth just because they no longer want to race, which is completely unfair of Emperor Velo. But he tells them that they are free to go. But Crunch tells them that they aren't going anywhere, and they will keep racing that it takes. So, Emperor Velo suggests a rematch. First, you gotta collect all the trophies, all the relics, the time relics, then we can race for the fate of Earth. And like I said, kind of the same thing goes with Team Cortex, but Cortex tells them to whip up the vortex to send them back to Earth, but Emperor Velo once again says that he has got to destroy Earth, and Tiny doesn't get it, so Cortex tells him that Big Emperor Velo can't stand the fact that he lost. So Emperor Velo tells him that a rematch. And then once again, having to collect all of Emperor Velo's time relics, and then do a rematch in the true race to see who gets to Earth. So yes, now you gotta go back to every level and get the C and K tokens, and of course with the crystal challenges as well. And you also have to get all the time relics as well. And like with Rival Cortex, it does not matter if you get Sapphire, it still counts to get 100%, which is a miracle. And then it comes down to this, you guys. To the final race. The real race for the Earth. For the fate of our Earth as we know it. And once again, Emperor Velo becomes 10 times more harder on the second time. Completely unfair, once again, and a complete cheater, as we all know it. So, with Emperor Velo defeated, he gets so angry, and his two henchmen kind of ruin it a little bit, and then Emperor Velos knocks out one of them out of the stadium, which is absolutely pretty cool. And then he explodes on both endings. On both teams, basically. So, with Team Bandicoot, once, like I said, Emperor Velo is defeated, he blows up because it turns out it was a robot. And we see the true Emperor Velo form. We see the true Emperor Velo that comes out of the robot. And yeah, he is that small kind of creature, kind of like the people in the stadium. And he tells them that his empire is theirs and all the power that comes with it. So Crash actually comes up and goes to the scepter and starts to hold it. And he daydreams and kind of imagines what he would look like if he actually ruled. And it's absolutely hilarious, if I do say so myself. Yeah, and everybody just starts getting bored in the stadium because he's not even doing anything, really. So, Crash refuses. You know what? No. Crash decides, no, you know what? So, he decides to do the right thing and give the scepter back to Velo so he can continue ruling. Which everybody starts laughing. Crunch laughs with Crunch laughing without even moving his mouth. And so, they go home. They finally get to go home. And the Bandicoots finally get to go home. They defeated Emperor Velo. And they live happily ever after on Wumpa Island. But this time, with Team Cortex, when Team Cortex defeats Emperor Velo, once again, Cortex just knew that this whole thing was a scheme by Emperor Velo because it was actually a robot. So, Cortex goes and tries to steal or take the Emperor Velo's scepter, but the true Velo comes out and tells him that he can't have it. So, Velo jumps on top of Cortex, tries to get his scepter back, but Tiny grabs Velo and tries to tell him to back off, but Emperor Velo tells him to keep it and it's too big for him. Which I do agree. So, Cortex tells him that he can handle it. So, Cortex uses it and tries to send him back to Earth. But, of course, the end falls off, breaks off, snaps off, and they get teleported to what if it's not Earth? And you'd be right, it is not Earth. It is a complete different world, and this isn't any kind of world. It is actually Kronk's planet. Yes, they are teleported to Kronk's planet, which is absolutely hilarious. So, Tiny grabs the scepter, just snaps it back together, which I can't believe Tiny actually did that, and Tiny becomes ruler. Yes, Tiny becomes ruler of Kronk's planet, with Cortex saying,
Tiny, you buffoon!
And there we go, you guys. And that is it for both teams, you guys. And that is the adventure mode. And that is going to wrap it up for this review, you guys, of Crash Nitro Kart, you guys. So that is going to wrap it up for this video. I do hope you enjoyed. Hit the like button, subscribe for ring the bell when you guys are on the channel, and tell us down below into this. What did you think about my review on Crash Nitro Kart? So tomorrow, I'm pretty sure it's Twinsanity, if I'm not mistaken. But tomorrow will be a new review, you guys. So thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next video. Bye!